and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Hey guys, welcome in, and a very happy Monday to you. Now, the 20th of February, trucking along. March Madness will be upon us sooner than later. That is for sure. But before we get to that time, plenty of games still, and plenty of questions still to be answered, which means tickets to be cashed. And on a $9 Monday here at WagerTalk.com, no better time than the present to take advantage of the knowledge with today's crew as we welcome back in Drew Martin in the house, Mr. Merrill ready to roll, as is Tony Finn in the house here, guys, on this Monday, couple of weeks. I think it's down to 3 weeks before Selection Sunday. It's absolutely crazy, but still some teams trying to get those last-minute wins here. Couple of them on the board here today we're going to talk about. But Drew, on a $9 Monday, continuing to roll, I see here. And I understand you got a little something going on at WagerTalk.com for us tonight. Oh, no. All right. Well, hold on. We'll come back to you over there. Just getting no levels with you, but we'll get back to you because I didn't want to mime it. I'll leave that for Tony Finn. I'll go to Merrill, yeah. 2 R's and 1 L. Merrill, what is going on, man? Great weekend here. And of course, looking to make it an even better Monday for $9. What do you got rolling over at WagerTalk.com?
Yeah, first of all, I did want to mime Drew Martin. I love doing that. And second of all, he was speechless. He is so red hot on $9 Monday. Speechless. $9 Monday left Drew Martin speechless. But it is $9 Monday. And to say we've been seeing it well in basketball is an understatement. Number 1 this year in the NBA, number 1, 2, and 3 for the last couple of weeks in college and pro basketball sides combined. Had a 4-1 Saturday, 5-2, 71% overall on the weekend on best bets in college hoops. And this week is college basketball because the NBA is off until Thursday. So pay attention. I do have a strong $9 best bet for Monday night. And don't forget about the additional free plays. I post one every day. We cashed again yesterday on Sunday. We cashed on Saturday on the free plays. These are games that are just a bit outside for making my best bet card. Now in a 15-2 run on free plays since the end of January. And I've got another one tonight at WagerTalk.com. Steve Merrill.
Well worth heading over there to see it here, guys. I think we got Drew's mic back as well. So, Drew, talk to us, man. $9 Monday. What do you got going on at Wager Talk?
Yeah, Joe. $9 Monday. Got a wager up. Of course, discounted just $9 on tonight's slate, and 3 good games we're breaking down, man. Big 12 conference at the top. So excited to break them down with you, Joe. And you bring up the mime. I don't know if you guys saw that lady that got the job that was miming, and she actually didn't know what she was doing. She just like tricked everybody into it. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but man, talk about wildness. Anyway, Joe, excited to break down these games with you.
There is a level of full of that you have to be, Drew, in order to fake your way through a miming session. Is priceless, though. That was great. Tony Finn, what is going on here, man, tonight? Here, $9 Monday over at Wager Talk, your page. Locked and loaded, shall we say, college basketball?
Big Monday, all access doubleheader. Do have 2 games. One involves one of the big Monday events, and already looking at numbers for next weekend's XFL. As mentioned here, no NBA this week, so time to concentrate on who's in and who's going to be out in the big dance, and is XFL gonna be as crazy as it was in week 1?
Well, there are going to be a few. There are going to be a few interesting ones, I think, here over the next couple of weeks. But we'll start with the big game of the night, of course, in the Big 12 is Kansas taking on TCU. TCU slight favorite now, 1.5, as they dropped 100 over the weekend there against Oklahoma State. And well, Kansas dropped 55 in the second half of Baylor. So both of these teams coming in here. Revenge on the minds of Kansas, though. 151.5 is a total. Drew, is it this much of a coin flip? And how do you see it?
You know, Joe, you bring up revenge on the minds of the Jayhawks here, and that's definitely, the case. If you're like in the Kansas side of it, I would go back to that matchup, January 21st, and it was
Mm.
in Kansas. TCU won by over 20 points. I almost look at that, is that type of a profile challenge here for the Kansas side? I would look for Bill Self to get the crew ready to go. I mean, they are a top 15 team in both offensive and defensive efficiency. At times they've kind of, not been as Kansas like, but playing better basketball of late. And you brought up that second half against Baylor, really shooting lights out. But TCU, I think, is the story here, Joe. If you just kind of look back at their schedule, they have lost 4 of their last 5 games, guys. However, and this is a big however, Mike Miles, their best player, is back in the lineup. He played 35 minutes on Saturday against your Oklahoma State Cowboys there,
Mm.
Joe. And they dropped triple digits here, 100 points. That is something I like to go after in college basketball. That last performance, we get change as a handicapper with their best player back, and it obviously worked offensively. I'm going to ride that here. If you're needing something in Kansas TCU, I think the favorite's the side here, TCU at home, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Lampkin back in, Mike Miles Jr. back in, and boy, what a difference it made for him. But that might have been one of the most impressive second halves we have seen going up against a pretty damn good Baylor team there, Merrill. What do you think here on the road? Can they continue to roll here, Kansas, or is it the home team for you?
Yeah, and don't forget, if you like college basketball, Saturday is the big card. I know we do this show Monday through Friday, but we have the Last Call show now at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays, and we talk a lot of college hoops. And I bring that up because I talked about that Kansas-Baylor game. I actually gave Kansas out free on the show this Saturday with Megan Payton, and I thought it was a really solid spot for Kansas with revenge at home where they are 12-1 straight up on the season. The concern now would be that this is a little bit of a regress spot after that big Baylor win. The only reason it shouldn't be, though, is that TCU was obviously coming off a high-scoring win, and Kansas was embarrassed by TCU 1 month ago in late January, losing by 23 outright as a 7-point home favorite. They were down by 10 at the half, lost by 23. Revenge works better, though, with strong home courts, and also I wish Kansas wasn't coming off the big win against Baylor. That's going to keep me off the side in this game, but I will look at the total. Opened 150 up to 151.5, and it's hard to disagree. These are 2 of the fastest paced teams in the country, 2 very efficient offensive teams, and I think there will be some points tonight. And if Kansas is a little bit hungover after the big win against Baylor, that might show up on the defensive end. And obviously, TCU just scored 100, and they put up 83 at Kansas last month. I think over 151.5 is probably the safest way to play this.
Yeah, probably not a bad way to look at this here, Finn. 2 teams, top of the best conference. Do you give Kansas the road dog in this one a little edge, or is it the home favorite for you?
Well, I'm going to be contrary to Steve, and I'll be contrary to where the money is at right now too. And the money is on TCU, despite the fact that you're going to see that maybe the majority, or at least the bets are on Kansas. The money really is coming in on TCU, and you saw that with the line movement. Part of it is what Steve just outlined. That's the 100 points they put up. But what Kansas did against Baylor was about as impressive. Listen, this Baylor team can score. They can shoot the 3, and they're down 16 in the first half at the Fog Allen Fieldhouse. And I think they were down 13 at the end of the first half, but they come back and just destroyed Baylor in the second half. They played the defense they can play. They basically started protecting and forcing Baylor to go to the rim, and they put in their 2 young, long long-armed, wingspan young guys, and looked pretty good in the second half. This is a Horned Frog team that is a team that can run. They really are, I think, the fastest team and the most efficient team in transition, on made shots, on missed shots, on steals, et cetera, et cetera. The Jayhawks don't turn the ball over very much. That first game was a bit, I'm going to call it an aberration. I think it's one. I think you can just call it a one, and you can throw it to the side, because I think here's the deal. I think Self is one of the best coaches as far as pre-game. He does a great job in game too, don't get me wrong, but pre-game game planning, Self does a pretty good job. And what TCU did to Kansas in that first game was a lot to do with what KU didn't do, or basically what they won't do tonight. This team's grown. This is a team that has gotten better and better and better. TCU does get Miles back, and as mentioned, man, that's big. Miles, I think if you're going to give MVP to a college player, despite just beside the record and where they're ranked, how important is Miles to this TCU team? Pretty darn important. The key, really, though, in this game, is the center for TCU. He's been, he hurt himself. He actually got hurt in that Kansas game and didn't play very much. They first said, hey, it's an Achilles injury. He's out for the rest of the season. Then all of a sudden he's back on the floor in the second half, was limited, didn't look real good. It was kind of gimpy, but did play. He's been playing limited minutes, and where KU scores most of their points at the rim, inside the three. They can shoot the three, but they're going to test Lampkin. That's where the Jayhawks are going to go here. And I know this total has climbed a couple points, 151, maybe 152, probably get there as well before the night's over. But if you look at the score in the first game, TCU's not going to, even at home, they're not going to put up 80 plus on Kansas. This game was 140 and change. What was it? 68-45, right? 100. Was that right?
Yeah.
68-45. And the first, is that right? With the first meeting, that's unbelievable, right? For a total, it's 151. I like Kansas really getting a couple points here, and the under total in Fort Worth.
Ooh, liking the under too as well. Going to be a good one here, guys. 9:00 Eastern time on that tip-off there in the Big 12. We got another Big 12 matchup here, and boy, oh boy, this one's going to be interesting. Two teams got bubble written all over it. Both need a win. Oklahoma State, we just told you, gave up 100 to TCU over the weekend. So much for that vaunted defense. And meanwhile, West Virginia can't find a win either lately. They are at home. They are laying 5. The total has come down a click here to 144.5. Boy, oh boy. It's tough to trust either of these two teams on really any level here, Drew, but they both need a win here. Are you leaning one way or the other with this?
Just sidewise, I'm going to agree with your sentiment here. I mean, both of these two teams are roller coasters, man. Up and down. Sometimes, particularly West Virginia. Sometimes I watch them. I'm like, man, could this team be, what's their ceiling here? They could make a run in March Madness. Could this team go to the Final Four? And then sometimes you watch them and they can't score, Joe. It's ugly basketball. So it's almost like, what Mountaineer team are we going to get here? Look, guys, if you need something sidewise, I would point you to the home road dichotomy here. West Virginia, 12-5 at home, just 3-7 on the road. And it's kind of the same with Oklahoma State here. The Cowboys in Stillwater, Joe, as you know, 12-4 at home. They're great, but just 4-7 on the road. Add that on. I know West Virginia's laying some points here, -5, but they do knock down their free throws. If you need something sidewise, I would actually go with the Mountaineers. But, Joe, the way I bet this one is the total, 144.5. And I know we talked about it last week, but it's coming over to this week in terms of, guys, something is going on here in the college basketball totals market. You go the last month, we're at 55% overs. That's almost 1,500 games over the last 30 days. It's at 55% to the over. In the last 7 days, it's a tick up to 56% overs. It's the way that they're calling the fouls, in my opinion. Teams are getting to the bonus late. I could see that happening here tonight. So West Virginia also, last thing here, guys, being at home and the favorite, I think there's something in college basketball, Joe, to the team being at home with a lead, kind of running it up late, and you get an extra basket or two. That's something we could put in our back pocket. So seeing it here, very manageable total, 144.5. I like it up and over, Joe.
Going over tonight with West Virginia and Oklahoma State here. Merrill, boy, oh boy, roller coaster says it. How do you approach it? You look inside total with these two erratic teams. What are you going to look at?
It's the national TV game at 7 Eastern on ESPN2, and I'm looking at the ticket resale prices for every game tonight. This is the lowest of any game. Tickets available for as low as $5 right now. So, Joe, you and your fraternity brothers can all go gang up and watch this game last minute up in Morgantown if you'd like for a very cheap price. You bring Drew Martin with you because he said he likes to subject himself to West Virginia basketball at times this year. I think this is a good spot, though, for West Virginia. Revenge spot, first of all, so that always makes my short list. Still a quality team. This is still a top 30, top 40 team in my rankings. And one thing that jumps out to me about West Virginia, I think there could be some upside. They're 327th right now in the luck index. So they probably are a little bit better than that 15-12 record. In fact, if you look at the KenPom rankings, they're 26th overall, 20th best offense. So this really is a top 30 team probably that should be better than 15-12. And they have a pretty meaningful revenge motive because they only lost by 7 at Oklahoma State earlier this year back on January 2nd. But they couldn't have played much worse, at least from a shooting percentage-wise. They got outshot 48-37%, hit only 28% from three, and hit just 60.5% from the free throw line, and still only lost by 7. So I think that's actually a good sign. They had a huge offensive rebounding edge, and I also rate them as the much better offensive team. And Oklahoma State, really good defensively this year, top 10 defensive efficiency, but they're not even in the top 100 offensively, and that always makes me nervous on the road against a quality team. Teams struggle to score more on the road than at home. So I think this is a good setup for West Virginia, and I would recommend laying the 5 tonight on Monday.
All right. Not a little more faith there in West Virginia at home. Tony, how about you, man? You trust them enough to lay the 5 here tonight?
Well, I think what you have to look at is Oklahoma State's kind of changed their dynamics of their game night DNA. This is a team that hung their hat on defense for most of the season. There was a little bit of a kind of a turn of the switch, and we saw it about the middle of the Big 12 schedule. And it's kind of alarming to see as good as TCU can be offensively when they're running, and I mean running fast and getting to the rim. That's where they make most of their shots. Put up to hang 100 on Oklahoma State is it an aberration, or is it Oklahoma State's been, look at their totals, been north of the closing number for the most part over the last month and a half, and physically West Virginia is going to be as tough as Oklahoma State is defensively. West Virginia's tougher physically. They just want to play physical. That's Huggy Bear's, that is his mark in college basketball. It always has been. I'm not going to pick a side here tonight. I'm going to say that this is, as mentioned, with the 55% over the going north of the closing number. I like this game over the total tonight in even in West Virginia. So Morgantown, give me over in this early Big 12 matchup.
Over it is. Oklahoma State, 7 of their last 8 to the over. West Virginia, 6 of their last 7 to the over. 144.5 is where that total sits, and another Big 12 matchup. We do have a little late night action going on here out west with the UC Santa Barbara taking on Cal State Fullerton. 128.5 in this one. 6 is what the Gauchos are laying here. Another revenge spot here. Cal State Fullerton trying to return the favor to Santa Barbara. Will they or won't they here, Drew? Can they keep this thing close, or is it just the home team for you in this one?
Yeah, a little late night degenerate special on the West Coast. Kind of love this one here, Joe. We get the Titans and the Gauchos of Santa Barbara. Looks like -6, 128.5. And I lean to the under here, Joe. A couple reasons why. Santa Barbara, slow, efficient basketball, number 318 in terms of tempo. That's nationally ranked. They did lose their last 2 games, this UC Irvine and UC Riverside. However, those are 2 of the better teams in the Big West Conference. So I don't don't downgrade them too much. Where I'd go after this though, Joe, because also Cal State Fullerton is a slower paced team sitting at 303 in terms of tempo. So both of them in the 300s getting up and down the court, meaning we're not going to get a whole lot of possessions. And when you look recently, 59 and 61, that was the number of possessions in the last two UC Santa Barbara games. And the last two for Cal State Fullerton here, 64 and 62 possessions. So it's really only projected in the low 60s here. And actually, when both teams play that slow, guys, I usually think it even goes lower than that. So we might not even get, to 60 possessions here. So you start doing a point per possessions. That's not going to get us to 129. And when you go to the last time these two played, Joe, it was actually all the way back to last year in terms of the calendar year, the end of December, 66 to 58, the final in that one. UC Santa Barbara did win that one. It did go under the total. I think we get another under here. So if you're glutton for punishment, late night here, guys, 128.5, I think we fall short of it. So I like it to the under, Joe.
Yep. 124 there in that game. 127.5 was the closing number there. We're going to get anything different here is the question, both side and total, Merrill, between these two teams. You leaning one way or the other?
Yeah, I like the home team in this game. We talk about revenge a lot, but there's also situations where you look for the sweep, and I think Santa Barbara gets the sweep here. They won the first game at the end of December by 8 as a 4.5-point road favorite, and now they're laying just 6. They're laying less than a basket more back at home, and this is a Santa Barbara team that has quietly gone 20-5 straight up this season, playing really good basketball, and they're 10-2 at home. Fullerton is also 10-2 at home this year, but they're just 5-10 away from home. And that's because, once again, teams that are struggling offensively are not as good on the road. This is not a very good offensive team in Fullerton. The one thing they do really well this year is they defend the three-point shot extremely well, 30.5% allowed. But Santa Barbara takes a small percentage of their shots from three. In fact, when they won this game in late December on the road, one of the reasons I like them to get the sweep here is I like this matchup. They won the game by 8 and covered on the road despite making just 4 3-pointers. And that's because they outshot Fullerton down low. They had 18 2-pointers versus 8 for Fullerton. Fullerton only scored 8 2-point baskets in the entire game. I think that's a matchup edge that continues tonight, and I like Santa Barbara laying the 6 at home.
All right, looking at Santa Barbara at home. Tony, how about you? You leaning one way or the other in this game? Season sweep for Santa Barbara?
I'm not good. I would say this. I would be contrary to that, Joe. I would be taking the points for a couple reasons. These two teams, as Drew mentioned, really good defensive teams. In fact, two of the better teams in the country overall in D1 play. I expect to see two really good performances by the defense, all out, in your face, kind of grinded out game. While Santa Barbara's been really good at home, they have really been good at home. They haven't been great, not great against Fullerton. I think 4-2 over the last 6. So that said, why not? I would probably do this. I would say if you really like this late night degenerate stuff, as mentioned by my esteemed colleagues, why not take the points and the under in this game? Listen, the Gauchos have been pretty good at home, like I said, but they're just 4-2 against Santa Barbara in the last 6 games. So that said, give me the points, 5.5, 6 points. Fullerton under the total tonight on the West Coast. Late night degenerate, same game parlay.
Yeah, definitely late night for sure there. 10 o'clock there on the West Coast. Not a huge card here tonight, but certainly some opportunities to present themselves here. And again, time is running out for some of these teams to make a nice little final push here before Selection Sunday. Conference tournaments will be here before we know it. But we'll see if there's a game these guys like a little bit more than the rest here on this card. And we'll start with Drew. Which one, Drew, which one of these games here might you like a little more than the rest tonight?
Joe, I'm going to the middle game we talked about, Big 12 Conference, ESPN Network, prime time, 7 p.m. Eastern here, guys. And I'm going up and over Oklahoma State and West Virginia, 144.5. That's what I bet. West Virginia, 6 of their last 7 to the over. Oklahoma State, hey, their numbers are saying good defensive efficiency, but I wonder if something's changed here, Joe. 7 of their last 8 to the over. They let up 100 points last time out to TCU. And they let up 87 points the time before that. So defensively, maybe they're changing something tempo-wise, what I'm noticing here. So Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Get it up and over 144.5. Best bet for me.
All right, boom. Talk to us here, Merrill. Which one of these games are you leaning towards here tonight?
Going to look at a free late night college basketball play for Monday, February the 20th. Just a quick reminder, free plays on my page each and every day at WagerTalk.com on an incredible 15-2 run since the end of January. And these are games that are usually the last cut for my best bet card. The best bets have been doing even better, up over 50 units of profit so far for 2023 on college and pro basketball side. So you want to check out $9 Monday. I do have a strong side best bet for $9 Monday, but a bonus free play for you, a game that was just a bit outside for making the cut, is on the late card at 10 o'clock Eastern. And I like Cal Santa Barbara minus the 6, and that is a sweep situation. They don't have revenge because they've already beaten Fullerton on the road earlier this season at the end of December, and they dominated that matchup down low. They had an 18-8 2-point advantage from shooting down low, and they only made 4 threes in the game and still won by 8. Covered as a 4.5-point road favorite, and now for some reason, despite being 20-6 straight up on the season, they're only laying 6 at home, only a basket more. I think there's some good line value with Santa Barbara to get the sweep and win once again. I like the matchup here against a Fullerton team that's been much better at home this year, but has struggled at times on the road and is a below-average offensive team, which is why they struggle away from home shooting. One thing Fullerton does really well is defend the three-pointer, only about 30.5% allowed on the season, but Santa Barbara takes a low percentage of their shots from three-point range. So once again, a favorable matchup down low. Cal Santa Barbara minus the 6 is a game that just missed the cut tonight. You just a bonus free play. Once again, free plays on a 15-2 run. So check out my page each and every day and night at WagerTalk.com. And more importantly, get that strong college basketball best bet right now for just $9 because it's $9 Monday. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
All right, good stuff there. And Tony Finn, which one of these did you circle for us here tonight on the card?
Another late night
Ooh.
contest between Riverside and Northridge. You see Riverside, Cal State, Northridge. And in this game, this is the second matchup between these two teams of the season. The first one was dominated by Riverside. Dominated, I mean, not just dominated, but, and I mentioned this, correct this, I was talking about 68-45 total or final score on that KCTC. This was my best bet because I had this the notes kind of mixed up there. This is the game. The Highlanders won 68-45, and they did that without Zion Pullen. That's their leading scorer, averaged about 18 points a game. Now, Riverside is not going to have the services of Kyle Owens, who is their center. They're big. However, this is a game where what Northridge does is that they force teams off, basically a sag, and force teams away from the rim and to the three-point line. Yet they give up over 39% from three-point the line, and Riverside shoots about 36 from that number. Riverside's going to dominate the paint, the rim, rebounding. They had a 44-25 rebounding edge in the first matchup and won easily tonight. I think it's basically a rinse and repeat. Minus the 7 on Riverside is the best bet.
All right. We've got our friends from the Gold Sheet, goldsheet.com. Certainly would encourage you guys to head on over there and check it out. Write-ups across the board on games here tonight. And they're showing us here Hawaii and Cal State Bakersfield. They like this one to go up and over the total. And they point out that the over is cashed in, well, each of Bakersfield's last 9 games. They've got 2 of the best foul shooting teams in the Big West going at it. And Bakersfield's defense, well, it sucks. There's no really other way to put it. So anticipate some friggin' points here tonight and go over with Cal, Bakersfield, and Hawaii. All right, I'm going to throw out, just hold your nose and have a little faith. Because who the hell is Duke to be laying 18.5 against anybody? Yes, it was a nice win against Syracuse, but my goodness, quietly Louisville has been a hell of a lot more competitive than the better teams they've been playing have noticed, including Virginia, including an outright win against Clemson. And oh yeah, Miami couldn't even beat them by double digits. Now we're getting 18.5. Not buying it. I'll take those 18.5 points. Give me Louisville here tonight at Duke, and that's a 7 o'clock game. But again, to recap it one more time for you guys here, we got Oklahoma State and West Virginia in the Big 12. Huge game for both. And Drew says, take the points, guys. Go over, over, over. Expect a ton of points here. 144.5 is the number. Both teams very profitable to the over. Merrill's going to go Santa Barbara. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've already beaten them once. Shouldn't have a problem beating them at home here for a second time. Lay the 6. Finn likes Riverside. Laying the 7 here tonight. Quietly having a pretty darn good season. I'm going to take your 18.5 points there, Duke. I'll back Louisville. And the Gold Sheet, they're going to go Hawaii, Cal State, Bakersfield up and over. That 121. And again, it is $9 Monday, guys, which means, yep, best bets, $9 over at WagerTalk.com. So if you head over to Drew's page, he's locked and loaded. Merrill's locked and loaded. Tony Finn. A lot of college basketball over the next couple of days here, guys, until the NBA gets back. So take advantage of it. Couple of more weeks left in the regular season. Conference tournaments, Selection Sunday, and then, of course, March Madness will be here. $9. Go grab those best bets today over at WagerTalk.com. That'll do it for us. Of course, we'll be back again tomorrow there. Another slate of games coming up. Until then, on behalf of Drew, Merrill, and Tony Finn, appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all the plays tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over. Good luck. We'll talk to you then.
While the 2022-2023 football season officially ends today on Super Bowl Sunday, for many sports betting fans, college hoops in February and March is one of the most exciting times in sports. Whether you love college hoops or just want to pad your bankroll heading into March Madness, we have the perfect special. Starting today, get the rest of February with any WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $149 each. So to finish off February for as little as $9 per day, head over to your favorite WagerTalk and or Sports Memo handicappers page and grab this limited time offer. This offer includes not only college basketball, but also any NBA, NHL, UFC, soccer, golf, and NASCAR that your favorite WagerTalk and or Sports Memo expert handicaps. No coupon is needed. The earlier you sign up, the more days you get.